This video is about how to set up your printmaking for your foam Japanese lantern. You'll see in front of me I have a piece of tracing paper. You're just going to fold the tracing paper, hamburger style or horizontal, match up your corners, smooth it to the center so you have a nice clean crease. Then you're going to open up your tracing paper and cut along the line. Each table should have 2 tracing papers. And this is so you can actually share your tracing paper with somebody across the table. You won't need the whole tracing paper because you're going to be just tracing around your foam template in order to give you an idea of where your design space is and where you're going to draw your images for your print. After you have 2 pieces, share it with the person across the table. You're going to take your printing foam plate, and you don't want to make any marks on it. You just want to lay it in the center. Hold it down flat and trace around the edges. Then I'm going to ask you to bring your foam back up to the supply table and make it in a neat pile without any dents or creases in it. You don't want to fold it because these are going to be the foam plates that you end up printing on here eventually. So you should have a rectangle in the center of your paper that you made with pencil. And in each table we have some Japanese motifs, which are designs. The goal for this project is to have some nature designs that you come up with, but you need to have also at least one Japanese motif. You could do the whole thing out of Japanese designs if you want, from the papers on the table. It's completely up to you, but you need to have at least one on there. I'm going to do mine completely with Japanese designs, just to kind of give you an idea of how you can look at how they're centered and what you want on the design. I'm going to start with this blossom. So I'm going to have this kind of central in my paper. And actually I say that, but I've talked about how the wave was really important in Japanese design, and I'm kind of rethinking that, like maybe I should do the wave. So let me find the wave in here. Plus I can add flowers around that if I'd like. If you have other things that you wanted to add to your paper, you are welcome to, besides just the Japanese designs. They're really small designs here that you can incorporate, so if you would rather do the smaller versions of them, you can. I'm going to add these waves, and remember, whatever is in the rectangle is what we're going to end up drawing on our printing plate. So I'm going to trace at least some Japanese waves, and I might give it some of my own designs. When I'm through tracing whichever part of the Japanese designs you want to keep, we're going to put this on top of our foam plate and gently and very lightly press into the plate. Remember, as you're drawing though, everything that you're drawing, if you just trace over it onto the plate, that's going to make it so the ink does not show up there. Remember, ink only shows up what's not pressed in. So if you want these lines to show up, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to trace in the parts that do not have the lines, which I'll show you here in a second. It's kind of a tricky concept, but once you get the idea that the negative space is kind of swapped, it's opposites because you're going to stamp it, it makes your designs much more powerful because you're able to figure out which parts you wanted what color. I'm going to have this wave go off. After you've filled your rectangle with design, you're just going to wait for the next step of how to then put it on the foam plate. And then there's also some other steps that we're videoing as to how to sand it, put watercolor on it, and print it. Thanks.